Welcome to this edition of Inside Tulsa Athletics. Today we will feature two of our wrestling teams, our brand new wrestling teams, two of our cheer and pom squads, one of our swim teams, and as their season gets started, we'll also have Tony Austin from the Nathan Hale JROTC to tell us about that great program and how it benefits kids. We'll have Marlon Houston and Mick Wilson to talk about winter sports. So when we come back, we'll be right back with Charles Bradley, the head swim coach at Edison. Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Our first guest today, we have three guests today. Charles Bradley, the head swim coach at Edison, and Mylie Bradley, his daughter, a student athlete, and Joshua Blanchard, who is also a student athlete, a swimmer. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk. It's swim season.
It's getting there.
Let's talk about, one of the questions I have right off the bat is, talk about the challenges of having swim without a pool.
It is a difficult situation. We struggle to grow the team. Just we don't have a pool there on campus. We use the Booker T pool some. We use the Memorial pool some. We've tried to get some help with transportation back and forth, which has been a struggle. I know the district's having driver shortages and things like that. Right. So. That's been probably our biggest struggle with growing the team is convincing parents to get up at 5 in the morning and drive their kid to Booker T for swim practice and then come pick them up and take them back. Just the pool situation is kind of resolved itself just because TPS does have pools, but just the transportation has really been the issue, getting our younger kids who can't drive to and from practices.
Now, does that really put a quash on your middle school program?
It does. Our middle school and our freshman, sophomore, it's really hard to get those kids. We had actually had quite a few come and try out this year, and then when we started discussing the transportation situation, then we had some kids that kind of dropped out, just the logistics of parents working and things like that, and getting them to and from practices. Hopefully, in the future, we can build a program by providing some sort of transportation or something like that.
How are your numbers now?
We are pretty small still. We've got 6 girls, and right now we've got 3 boys. So all but one are returning from last year team we had. We actually lost a couple that were on the team last year just because of transportation conflicts that arose over the
it's a
summertime.
Commitment you got to make. It
is for sure.
Mike, what do you participate in?
I am a member of Stuco, and I swim, obviously. I think I'm planning on running track for Edison, and I also do outside swim club for him. So. But other than that, that's all I really do.
What event do you swim?
I can swim really anything. That's the thing. But the events that I prefer to swim is 100 back and 100 breast, high school wise, and then club wise, 100 back, 2 breast.
How long have you been swimming?
A long time. I've been swimming for about, I would say like adding all it up together would be like 8 years. Like I've been swimming since I was little. We had a pool in our backyard, and I loved playing in it. And then I asked him if I could go do summer, and then summer turned into club, and then club turned into here.
There we go. So. Yeah. Josh, what about you?
So I'm a triathlete, so I participate in cross country and track, and then I also do biking with a team out in Bixby. But yeah, I'm mainly a swimmer now and been doing swim for a while.
What are your swim events?
My main swim events are the 50 free and 100 free, 200 free.
Mm-hmm. Triathlete, that's quite a taxing opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah. Takes up a lot of time.
Keep you in shape all year long.
Oh, for sure.
Well, Coach, what do you look at this year as far as growing the program and maybe some success of your student athletes?
Yeah, so last year we actually had great success. We, I just took the program over last year. The year before that, Edison was actually in 6A, which is crazy,
Right.
the way they break that down. Luckily, the numbers fell last year where we fell back into 5A, where Edison really should be at. And we did really well. Our boys finished, I think, third at regionals. Our girls finished third at regionals. Had a really good showing at state. Mylie was, she was first team Tulsa World for swimmer of the week, I think is what, or however that they call that, basically swimmer of the year thing.
Mm-hmm.
So she was first team in breaststroke, and then she was athlete of the week. I think the Bill Knight athlete of the week once or twice. Like I said, the goal is just to expand from there. We're still trying to recruit kids from other sports. Just to, Edison went a very long time with a very minimal swim team, and we're trying to build on that with now the addition of being able to use the Booker T pool, and
Good.
that took a little bit of wrangling with getting folks down at the district to help us out to make that happen, but we were able to make it happen. It's allowed us to actually train in a competition-sized pool.
Right.
So it's helping, and we're hoping to grow the team, and next couple of years be competing for a state championship.
Excellent, excellent. Well, good luck, guys. Good luck on the season. We get into this winter. It's you'll be going now for the next 3 months. So
Yep.
Pretty much at it all the time. Thanks for being here. We'll
All right,
have you
thank you.
back during the year and see
All
how
right.
you're doing.
All right, thank you.
And when we come back, we'll have Colton Roberts, the head wrestling coach at Central High School.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right. Only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale's means that you have to be consistent, outgoing, and be dedicated because students at Nathan Hale look up to the football team.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale has taught me to be confident and disciplined, and always to be open-minded and always ready to work with people no matter how difficult it is.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and now we have the head wrestling coach of the Central Braves, Colton Roberts. Colton, welcome to the show.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, it's always good to be somewhere.
That's right.
As we look at you taking over this Central program, this is a new program.
Yeah.
How are you going to build that program?
Just one break at a time. Sweat, a little bit of dedication, a little bit of luck along the way. But really, our goal is to restore the historic nature of Tulsa Central Wrestling. It hasn't been there since 1996, but I teach history, so I like to bridge the past and the future together. And not only that, I have family ties to Tulsa Central, as my cousin is married to Art Griffith's granddaughter. So there's even more ties in between us, between me and Central. So really, to build a program that hasn't been around for a long time, first we got to get the word out, which we've done successfully, and then we got to get these kids in the room and get them hooked.
That's the good news and the bad news when you start a brand new program. The good news is you have the opportunity to build it yourself.
Yeah, which is amazing.
The foundation is your foundation. That's how you want it. You don't have to take care of somebody else's problems.
That's right.
So on. You can start. So as you look at that, how has the interest been with the student athletes?
It's been good. At the beginning, kids were a little nervous, were a little shy about it because they had never experienced it themselves. Right. But wrestling has a way of sinking its hooks into people once they see it and experience it themselves. So really, the interest is high. The girls' program's starting to grow. So we're going to ruffle some feathers this year. I can tell
Good.
you that. We got some athletes. We don't have a lot of wrestlers yet, but we got a lot of athletes.
Athletes, yeah. You can build on that.
That's right.
That's the key. So as you look at your preseason, how has that gone? Your training and everything?
It's been pretty amazing actually. Because like I said, I got a lot of athletes, so we hit the ground running from the first day of school, and they really bought in because a lot of the athletes that were there at the beginning were misplaced from football, maybe didn't like what was going on in other sports, kids that were in trouble, kids that had poor grades or had been out there in the streets, and then one guy found wrestling, told his friends, and then they all started coming, and then they've started to build this really awesome family dynamic with each other, and it's just been really awesome to watch them get ready to compete for the first time in their lives this weekend.
That is really, I've always said this, one of the things that I used to do when I was a single district school AD, we'd go to the junior highs and around there and tell them, say, look, be involved with something.
Yeah.
When you go to high school, be a part of something, whether
Absolutely.
it's speech, debate, music, or athletics. You get to be a part of a team because you'll show up to school every day.
That's right.
Because you have to.
Yeah.
And you'll make your grades because you have to.
That's right.
And you have that camaraderie with that peer group. I think that's important with team concept.
Oh, 100%. And that's something that our kids have really, really bonded to is banding together, just becoming a pack of dogs with each other. They weren't all friends when they first came together, but now I walked into the lunchroom, they're sitting together. In the morning, they're with each other.
Yeah.
And these were kids that didn't like each other last year.
Yeah.
And this year they've understood, like, okay, we've sweat and bled together.
Right.
So now we are bonded for life. And that's something that the wrestling that brings that community, that worldwide community. If you see as a wrestler, if you see another guy with cauliflower ear, you have something in common. You can go grab them, play with them. It's that community bond, and these athletes are starting to grab that and really gravitate towards that. That's helping our program grow.
Well, I think it'll help school too.
Yeah, absolutely.
No question. Keep those kids in school and
keep them in line.
Keep them focused on a goal. To
absolutely.
be able to be eligible every week. Hard to get a schedule this first year?
No. I kind of thought it would, but I've got the unique opportunity to have come from a pretty well-known wrestling family. My dad is Roger Roberts, and he's coached wrestling for 47 years in Oklahoma. I've coached at other places, at Cleveland, at Stillwater, and at Tecumseh. So I've been fortunate enough to make a lot of connections in that wrestling community, and been able to reach out. And I got a full schedule.
Good.
5 tournaments, 12 duels. It's just like everybody else.
So you're going this weekend. Where are you going this weekend?
We're going to go to the Union Open. They're going to get their first taste of real action, finally. Mm-hmm. And some of them was going to be a wake-up call. And some of them we're going to find out who's got the potential.
There'll be some good schools at that one.
Yeah, there will be.
Excellent wrestlers. I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Some really top-notch wrestlers.
Well, good luck on putting the program together.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll have you back during the year.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about the region and the state and all
absolutely.
that. And hopefully you'll have some state qualifiers this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be fantastic.
Oh, my gosh.
When we come back, we'll have Devin Martinez, the head wrestling coach at Memorial.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Booker T. Washington has taught me to carry myself with class as an athlete, student, and friend, and to have responsibility on and off the field, and that it's the littlest things that will make all the difference in the long run.
Being an athlete at Memorial High School has taught me to be a better person, because when you play sports, attitude is the main thing you have to deal with, not just your own, but other people's. It also teaches you to be the bigger person.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Now we have Devin Martinez, the head wrestling coach, Memorial High School Chargers. Devin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
How long have you been at Memorial?
So just started at Memorial. I think we've been there about 13 or 14 weeks now.
There you go.
Got there this summer. It's been awesome.
What do you think about how are you going to rebuild that wrestling program?
Yeah, so, Memorial's got a lot of history, really good solid history back in the 70s and 80s and even up into the 90s, with a lot of tradition there. But this year, we're kind of starting from scratch. There was no program last year, so it's starting up brand new. Our biggest emphasis is going to be on how wrestling can help other sports right now. Not just other sports, but how it can help them in life.
Sure.
Those kind of things, And so right now we're just trying to build a program, core values, family, integrity, hard work, sacrifice, positive attitudes.
Well, I think I started the wrestling program at Coffeyville High School in 1970.
Wow.
It was the largest school in the conference, but the only school not to have wrestling.
Wow.
And so I was from Oklahoma, so they figured I knew about wrestling. I never wrestled a match in my life, but they hired me to be the defensive coordinator and head wrestling coach.
Yeah.
We put it in, and I had my football players were on the wrestling team,
Yeah.
And that was the key, that we wanted to share that with the guys, because that gave them an opportunity in the winter
Absolutely.
to compete.
Absolutely.
You can lift weights all you want to lift, but you want to compete a little bit too.
Sure.
And so using what you said is what we did. We worked those kids every day and had a goal at the end of the year that we wanted to do certain things. And the first year we were second in the league, and the next year we won it. But I had a bunch of really good kids.
That's awesome.
It wasn't the coaching, I can tell you that.
Right, right. I
We
agree.
just put them in a position to be successful.
Absolutely.
That was it. So as you look at your program, boys and girls,
Absolutely, yes. Boys and
how are
girls.
your numbers?
Our numbers are actually really good. We've had a really big turnout. A lot of support from other coaches and other sports. Right now our boys were a little more than 40, a little over 40, I think, 42,
good.
43, somewhere around in there. Our girls about half that many on the other side. We had our volleyball coach come in. She's got a little bit of a background in wrestling too, and so she was able to bring some of the volleyball girls over,
yeah.
and so we're building them from all over.
I think it's important, more and more you see, it seems like almost every week, these professional athletes that say, hey, you don't need to specialize. You need to play multiple sports.
I agree.
And I think that's very, very important for kiddos to hear, because of nothing more maybe than injury. If you use the same muscle groups every day for the same sport, you have a chance to injure those things. If you change up, you give the kid an option. But so as you look at, are you going to have a full weight to all 13?
We should have full teams. We should have full teams on the boys and girls side. I think our biggest struggle right now is just grades, attendance, those kind of things. And so for a lot of our wrestlers, we're just working on being good students as well as being good wrestlers. And, because I tell them, you're not eligible, you're no good to us anyway.
Right.
And so it's really it's fun to see the passion come alive, because they want to compete in wrestling. And in order to do that, you got to pass your classes.
Sure.
So, it's been fun to watch them do that.
As you look at your group this year that you have, say with the boys, are there any that have stood out in your early season practice?
Absolutely. Actually, we've got some kids that are really quick learners. And wrestling is such a basic sport. There's really not a whole lot to it. I mean, you take them down and you hold them down and try not to let them up. And so we've taken a really simplistic approach to our technique. And the guys that we've had and the girls that we've had, they've taken to it really quick. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see kind of how we match up coming up.
When I started that program up there, I scheduled Bartlesville, and the East Central had a tournament back then, and Ark City. Well, Ark City was the best wrestling program in Kansas, and Bartlesville was really good, and that East Central tournament was really good. And the reason I did that is I wanted my kids to see what good wrestlers look like
Yes.
on the mat.
Absolutely.
And experience it.
Yes.
And I think that was very, very helpful for our kids to do wrestling.
Absolutely.
Wrestling is a see and do. You got to
sure
see
is.
how it works.
It sure is. And for coaching too. You know, for me, I've been very fortunate to be a part of some, you know, really good wrestling programs and learn from some really good coaches. And, you know, for me as a coach, it's kind of helped prepare me for this. And so for the wrestlers that I have now, I want to try to expose them to as much good wrestling as possible, because like you said, I mean, you see it and you do it.
Yeah, good. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
On putting both programs together.
Yes.
And we'll probably have you back during the course of the year to see how the program's doing as you get ready for regional and all that business.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Glad you're here.
Thanks for having me.
When we come back, we'll have Tony Austin, the JROTC director from Hale High School.
Hey, Tulsa, we have a crushing recycle play of the day for you. Team Johnson versus paper and cardboard.
They're starting off slow today, probably trying to figure out what to do with those styrofoam plates, since they're not recyclable.
There's the big play we were waiting for. Boom! Completely empty cardboard boxes dunked in the cart. Score big by recycling your cardboard and paper. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Edison High School has taught me to work as a team rather than as an individual. Whenever you're on a team, you have a special bond with each other. You know you can rely on them in a time of need, whether on or off the court. Whether it be a shoulder to cry on or advice on how you can improve, you know your team will always be there for you.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Now we have Tony Austin, JROTC instructor from Hale High School. Welcome to the show,
Oh,
Tony.
thank you, sir. Glad to be here.
The JROTC program, I think, is an outstanding program for our young people to get involved in early on in high school. And tell us a little overview of what you want to accomplish and how it develops in Tulsa.
Oh, glad to. JROTC program, it's a 4-year program that's in 9 programs that are 9 high schools in Tulsa. It is the largest character development program for our youth in America. All right. Our program, we're looking to instill discipline and also teach our kids time management skills and those critical life skills that they need to be successful once they leave our high school. And another thing that we want to do is we want to promote community service. That's real big. We want our kids to go out into the community and be effective and help our citizens. It's about citizenship.
As far as your numbers, how are your numbers throughout the program?
Well, the numbers, it goes up and down throughout the year. We'll start roughly with about 120, 130 odd students in the program. And we'll normally, once it pans itself out, we'll normally be right up under 100, which is a good number. So in Tulsa,
what fashion of the military do we have? Just Army, or do we have Air Force? Or
Yes, sir. That's a good question. We have 7 Army programs. We have 1 Navy program and 1 Air Force program here in Tulsa.
Okay. Do you think that is a great opportunity for those kids to get a taste of that? And do a lot of them matriculate after they graduate into the armed forces?
Well, I think it's a great program that young kids who just don't know what they really want to do in high school, but once they come to a JROTC program, we kind of nudge them a little bit just to give them those things that they can be successful. Well, as I looked over the years, I would say 20 to 25% of our students who are cadets normally matriculate into the military.
Really?
So yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a good number.
Yeah, that's a good number.
That's a good number. As you look at the quality of that student, obviously to stay in the program, they have to improve every year.
Yes, every year. Yeah. That's one of the things that we're looking for. You know, we know if we get a first year student, a freshman, we know might be a little bit immature, but as they continue to grow as a sophomore, as a junior, as a senior, you see the difference. And that's what makes it so a real rewarding job, because you see that young kid and how they were as a freshman and what they become once they become a senior.
Sure. If a student, say, transfers in and hasn't been in the program, can they get in?
Oh yes, oh yes. We have a lot of students that do transfer in, and they might not have had JROTC in the previous school. Maybe they came from out of state, and we'll take them and we'll get them right on board.
Catch them up that year or two they've
Yeah,
missed.
we can catch them up. Like I said, sometimes we do have first year students who are sophomores because you have to go through that first year. So you could possibly be a sophomore. Sometimes we have juniors too, because they might be thinking about the military and they like, my last 2 years, I probably want to be in a program so I can just figure it out.
Right. So you get involved in different types of community. How about the Veterans Day Parade?
Oh, Veterans Day was, it was great. We had great weather. Couldn't ask for nothing better. All the programs were downtown marching. Kids, I know Hale High School, we were marching, sounding off, kids were singing cadence. They enjoyed it. As Colonel Galbraith and I, we always tell the kids, that day is not about you. It's about veterans.
Yes.
And paying that tribute and respect towards veterans on that day. And so our kids, they enjoyed it. They really did. So Veterans Day was, I always look forward to that.
Well, the veterans give them the opportunity to do what they're doing now.
Exactly, and you can never forget that.
No, absolutely not. Well, what do you look like in the future? Is JROTC a program that's going to continue to grow and get bigger?
I think it will. I think it's bright, in my opinion. We have all services are growing programs every year. From my information that I got from the Army is that we have a waiting list, probably over 200 schools.
Gee, well.
Yes, that standing waiting list of trying to get the Army JROTC program in their schools.
Well, that's good.
And I'm sure the other services most likely have a waiting list also. And what I found out that was so good is that we have 10 Space Force JROTC programs that have been stood up this year alone.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What, the funding comes from the Army?
Yes, the Department of Defense funds our programs. And of course the instructors need to be retired service members. And 2 instructors. This all depends on your number of students, possibly could be 3. But yes, the Department of Defense funds our programs.
Excellent. Well, glad to know that. Glad you're here.
Oh,
and
yes,
we'll
sir.
hope to have you back sometime
Yes,
during
sir.
the year and have some of the activities that you guys are involved in.
Yes, sir.
And when we come back, we'll have Tiffany Jarrett, who's the head cheer coach at Booker T. Washington.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right. Only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
I feel like athletics is so important at Tulsa Central because it's an outlet for some of our kids there. They get a better opportunity to basically give back to our community.
At McLean, the sports is what mainly drives a bunch of the students to come to school every single day and work hard because they want to be able to come from the classroom to the field or the court and show at what they're good at.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. And now we have a special guest, Booker T. Washington, the head cheer coach, Tiffany Jarrett. Tiffany, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm glad you're here. Tell us about your cheer program.
I've been coaching at Booker T for about 3 years, and the cheer program has really grown. We try to keep the traditions and the material of the past and make sure that we cultivate all of our student athletes so they can represent the brand of Booker T in the best possible way. We cheer football and basketball, girls and boys.
I've always, even the years when I was the athletic director at Union, I always looked at Booker T as one of the most school-spirited schools
Absolutely.
In the area. If every school had student body that was as engaged as that bunch was, and of course your girls are a pivotal point in that.
Absolutely, yeah. That's exactly what we work towards. You know, we uphold the traditions, the student body upholds the traditions, and we make sure that every game we bring it, we cultivate it, and we invite people to celebrate and be the most engaged students and parents that we possibly can be.
Excellent. As you went through, as everybody went through the pandemic and everything, are your numbers back up now? And how's the program developed since that time?
Absolutely. The pandemic, our numbers really dwindled because we couldn't meet, we couldn't practice. Right. This year we had a record number of girls come, really? and 60 girls signed up to try out for cheer. Yeah, we took 25. And so the numbers have really gone up. Booker T Cheer is back. We came from a growing season. And so it is really, it's an awesome time to be a Booker T cheerleader.
I guess so. Now, is there, say a young lady's out there and she's thinking about maybe I want to be a cheerleader at that next level. Are there things outside of the school team that those girls could do to enhance their opportunity?
Absolutely. You need to work on your conditioning and your endurance. You should be able to do the basic round off or the basic type of stunts in order to cheer. We also host clinics. If they did have questions, you can come to our clinic and see exactly what you need to do in order to make it as a Booker T cheerleader.
Well, I bet your girls are willing to share.
Absolutely. We're willing to share. You can come and look in on one of our practices. You can go to our Instagram and see what we do. We have social media. We have TikTok. You can get a good glimpse of what it takes to be a cheerleader.
What do you think about the game day competition?
You know what? I love it. We competed. We won the TPS game day competition here. The practice and the pre-work in order to compete, it's really difficult. You know, we started in April of last year. Mm-hmm. And so I think it showcased all of TPS talent. You know, I love that we have put that together to bring us together to show what we can do.
Yeah. At the, how'd you do state level?
You know, we didn't place how we wanted to place at state, but we were the only TPS school who made it, which is pretty amazing. Yeah. Coming from the backgrounds and the different socioeconomic backgrounds with Booker T, I thought we did really good. We represented really well.
Sure. I think that epitomizes, fortunately or unfortunately in this country, competition is important.
Absolutely.
You know, coming in first or last, it's, you know, you gotta, and when we were back in the day, 5, 6, 7 years ago, when this first came up, should there be a competition for game day cheer? And should there be, you know, at the state level, I was on the advisory committee for the OSSAA. And I said, well, if we're gonna have the program, let's see who the best is. I mean, you know, you want to do that. And that's for your kids and your patrons and everybody else. So as you look at the future of your program, where do you think it is?
We definitely want to compete on a higher level. We want to go to nationals. That's why I'm saying we're in a growing program. We definitely want to compete game day nationally and then competitively nationally as well. Mm-hmm. Competitive cheer national.
So, and your feeder program works well?
You know, we're in the infant stages of the feeder program. You know, we're going to start a relationship with Carver. Their feeder program, Thoreau, feeds into us as well. And I look forward to cultivate that relationship with those coaches so the girls can already know what to expect and what they can do in order to be successful as a cheerleader or POM with Booker T.
So important to have that connection.
Absolutely.
The visibility of the high school coach. At that level, the middle school level, where you have that connection where that girl doesn't feel uncomfortable. She knows coach.
That's right.
Coach has been to my competition. She understands that. So, well, we're glad you're here, and boy, looking forward to a great basketball season. I know Eli posted this morning that he has great kids, and so, you know, I've always told coaches you need to be careful about that early before you play a game. You know? But thanks for coming today, and good luck during the year.
Thank you for having me.
Let's get those Hornets up and run into the state tournament.
Absolutely.
When we come back, we'll have Monica Musgrave, the cheer coach from Monroe Demonstration Academy.
Hey Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against a tough competitor, plastic.
Don't trust those numbers on the bottom. You have to stick to what you know. Only bottles and jugs found in the kitchen, bath, or laundry. They're quick to pick up. And empty those bottles before sinking that shot.
Always empty your bottles before recycling. Score big by recycling your plastic bottles and jugs. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
I love Will Rogers Athletics because it helped me physically, spiritually, and emotionally through all the journeys I've been through at that school. All of the support staff helped me a lot, and it's just an amazing school.
Athletics at Will Rogers changed my life because it became a second family. With the support of my coaches and teammates, it's helped me gain confidence, work as a team, and will help me in college and in life.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Now we have Monica Musgrave, the head cheer coach at Monroe Demonstration Academy. Monica, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about your cheer program at Monroe.
I coach cheer at Monroe. This is our third year with the program since I've been there. I've been at Monroe for 5 years, and so the first 2 years we did not have a team, and then the past 3 years we have had one, which has been really nice. We cheer for football, basketball, and then sometimes they will beg to cheer for soccer as well, and so sometimes we continue the season.
There you go. Yeah. In the spring. Well, how is there a great deal of excitement about your program with the students?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. This past year for our fall tryouts, we had over 35 girls try out. We are obviously limited by the number of uniforms that we have, so I could not have all 35 on the team. And then we are also actually this week holding mid-season tryouts. So sometimes we have girls that are interested in cheering, but they are also doing another sport in the fall. And that's the benefit of cheerleading being a multi-season sport, is they have the opportunity if they want to try out for the winter season and join us for basketball.
Well, that's good. I have not heard that before. I think that's really good. You eliminate a lot of people. When I was at Union, the cheerleaders were under the principals at each of the schools.
Okay.
And they would complain to me, on game day that they're not doing this or not doing that. I said, I don't have anything to do with it. So finally I told the superintendent that let's put it in athletics.
Yeah.
And let's handle it, okay? And so once we did that, they didn't complain anymore. And we operated just exactly like a team.
Yeah.
You had to be on the team, you had to do, these are the rules, and so on and so forth. And that eliminated a lot of things. I think that's interesting. But the problem was, for instance, in basketball, that for the girls' game there would be 3 cheerleaders because 7 were playing basketball.
Yes.
And to have an opportunity like that, I think would really be neat. I think that would really be neat.
Yeah, that's always kind of been one of my goals with cheerleading, especially teaching at Monroe and just in general. Cheerleading can be a really inaccessible sport for a lot of people. It can be really expensive because it is 2 seasons. Sometimes so that certain people think that they're not going to be able to do it. So my goal has always been to make it as easy a barrier of entry as possible. Still got to try out, but
right, and you got to have the skill to be able to get there. Right. So as you look at the future of your program, it's going to continue to grow, I'm sure, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I am hoping, with each year, as we get more of our budget and do fundraising, we're able to purchase more uniforms, which can then increase the size of our team. And just also, as I gain more experience coaching, knowing, how to start the season off on a good note, what skills I want them to start working on immediately versus, ones that okay, we can wait, a couple weeks or months into the season to work on those skills.
As you look at your preparation for preseason, those girls, do they have to work outside the realm of your coaching?
And that's one of the things with cheerleading especially. We use our practice time to learn the cheers, but then they are expected to spend, their time essentially as homework. You go home and you're going to practice the cheers because it's The time that we're using when we're all together is going to be for things that you need to be all together to do. So whether it's stunting or we do one of our like crowd favorites is we'll spell Monroe with our pom-poms. For things like that, you need everyone there versus you can practice a cheer on your own at home. So yeah, they definitely, there is the expectation they are also practicing at home.
Good. Do you have a breakdown by grade level, or you just have one team?
I have one team, 7th and 8th grade, together.
Together?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see a time when you will have a 7th grade and the 8th grade separate?
Maybe if I can clone myself.
What do you teach?
So I am a special education teacher. So this year I'm teaching math, 7th grade math, and then I also push into a 6th grade and an 8th grade social studies class as well. So
excellent, yeah. And you've been there how long? 3 years?
5 years.
5 years.
So I've coached for 3 years. I've been at Monroe for 5 years.
How did Rob get you to coach?
Well, I cheered all the way through college. So when I originally came to Monroe, I was really interested in coaching. I didn't want to start coaching my very first year because I just wanted to get, a handle on things. Yeah. But then the second year was when COVID was happening. So was like, I don't know how I feel about starting a team in the middle of COVID. So then the following year is when we really kicked off the program.
Well, it seems like you're doing a good job. You had a good competition
thank
this
you.
year, and we will, I'm sure, probably have you back sometime during the year to see how you've progressed. All right?
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah.
And when we come back, we'll have Marlon Houston, TPS Assistant Athletic Director.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Edison High School has taught me to work as a team rather than as an individual. Whenever you're on a team, you have a special bond with each other. You know you can rely on them in a time of need, whether on or off the court. Whether it be a shoulder to cry on or advice on how you can improve, you know your team will always be there for you.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and now we have Marlon Houston, DPS Assistant Director of Athletics and Supervisor of the Wrestling Program. And we've got new wrestling programs popping up all over the district.
Yeah,
I bet you've been busy.
Yeah, we've done a really good job this year, and this is an exciting year because this year will be the start of a new era where we have every middle school program and every high school will be representing wrestling for us.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah. That's probably a number of new student athletes to the program.
Oh yeah, our program has really increased. Last year we went from 347 wrestlers to 513 district-wide.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So we'll add to that in the next couple of weeks because football season just ended.
Well, yeah. What's the breakdown, boys and girls?
Girls, we have about 125 of that number being girls.
I see.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to be a good program for us?
Yes. Our girls program is really going to grow. Of course, we always talk about it. The girls is the fastest growing sport in the sport of wrestling country right now. It's a hot topic.
It is a hot topic with the National Federation. So as you look at your progression into that, you got to buy mats, you got to buy uniforms, you got to find coaches.
It's
how difficult has that been?
It's been difficult looking for coaches, but we've been graced this year to have a coach at every facility, a coach with a wrestling background, and they have assistants. So we have a really healthy program right now.
That's great. I'm glad that we put somebody with a wrestling background in there.
Oh yeah, that's important.
Sometimes you don't want a sponsor, you want a coach.
Right. We've done a little bit of both. We've had some good coaches in there with a resume, and we have some coaches that's never coached, but their best resume is they're great recruiters.
There you go. How's who's going to be at the format of the middle school program? Who's going to be the kingpin?
Kingpin Middle School program, it looks like right now Memorial, they had the best numbers last year coming into it as far as successful, I think. More experience probably. It's going to be Edison and not McLean, but Edison and Rogers. I think they have more of the returning kids that wrestled all throughout. And just talking to some of these coaches with the programs we're starting at Central, Memorial, and Booker T. Well, of course, Central Memorial, they have some middle school programs, but those coaches has identified some young wrestlers that have wrestled all their life.
Oh, really?
And some of them are even quite surprised that I didn't think we had wrestling, and yes, we do. So, yeah, it's going to be a breakout year, especially at our middle school level.
That'll really be great to engage those younger kids and get them in, see them go up through the chain of command there. So, it is important, I think, that we look at scheduling. Now, how did you schedule your middle school?
Last year with our middle school, what I did is looked at the different schools that needed to fill a schedule, and we had different locations where we would bring 3 or 4 teams together. And this year with all of our high schools, a lot of our high schools have scheduled their feeder programs along with it. And some of the schools who are lacking in their schedule, they're going to go and piggyback on with the other schools that are wrestling. So, for example, if Rogers and East Central Middle School are wrestling and Carver needs to fill their schedule, they'll go jump in and turn a dual into a triangular, which obviously triangular, there's 3 schools there. And
sure.
Some of them are even going to look at doing the quads with 4 schools there. So that's a real easy way to help with our inner workings of our TPS schedule. So next year I'm going to look at, how we go ahead and do a schedule for football and volleyball and basketball. Next year I'm going to look at maybe doing something like that as well.
That'd be good. That'd be excellent. The quad system is still prevailing in high school. They have the quads to qualify for.
Yep, they'll still have the different things in high school for that along the ways, and high school they have a dual state as well as an individual state tournament. So that's pretty neat.
How does it look as far as some outstanding wrestlers district-wide?
District-wide with Edison and McLean, they're the only 2 schools with returning state placers that will have a really good shot. And then we also have, along with Edison and McLean, but Rogers and East Central have returning state qualifiers. So we're looking forward for those placers to overachieve and those qualifiers to slide in some placings as well.
A little bit higher.
Yep, and then we're going to see some new qualifiers this year, and there's been a little change in some of the classifications. I think that's going to suit our district well in that area. So it's going to be fun to watch, and they even did something different for the girls. Last year there was only 1 state classification for girls. This year they've split it up to 2 state classifications.
Oh, I see.
So some of our schools will be on the small side, what they call this small conference, and the other one we have a few that will be on the large conference side.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
Those kids ought to have some success.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's going to be a new year for us. And the state tournament went from a 2-day tournament to a 3-day tournament to accommodate the number of kids that we are bringing in.
That's fantastic. Well, the more kids we can involve, the better off we are.
Oh,
I think there's no question. But we'll have you back during the year to see what our progression is toward the state tournament.
Oh, no doubt it's going to be an exciting year.
Sounds great. Thanks for being here today. And when we come back, we'll have Mick Wilson, the Executive Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is looking to defend their title against aluminum and steel cans.
Bob, most people think of the kitchen for this opponent, but aluminum and steel cans, like empty shaving cream cans, also play extremely well in bathrooms all over Tulsa. That was nothing but bin, Bob.
Wow, right into the bin. Team Johnson has buttoned up another win. Score big by recycling your aluminum and steel cans. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale's mean that you have to be consistent, outgoing, and be dedicated because students at Nathan Hale look up to the football team.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale has taught me to be confident and disciplined and always to be open-minded and always ready to work with people no matter how difficult it is.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and our last guest today is the Executive Director of Athletics, Tulsa Public Schools, Mick Wilson. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. It's just ending up the fall sports and getting ready right into winter sports, Gil, whether it's wrestling, swimming, and basketball. We're going to have a lot of it.
That's this transitional time that really we got them flying every different direction and so on, and it is an exciting time. Our basketball has always been really, really good, and I anticipate that probably will happen again. With the new wrestling programs we've got, that's more kids involved, no question, and I think our numbers are up a little bit in swimming. So you guys are doing a great job of promoting the program.
Well, we want to continue to grow all of our programs, Gil, and as you grow your programs, it increases opportunities for our student athletes and for our students to find something to get excited about, something that they look forward to coming to school. Like I always say, sometimes they don't get excited about coming and taking that calculus or that algebra test, but
Right.
if they know they're going to have a game that night, then it's an exciting time
They'll
for
be
them
there.
to come and participate and be a part of something. So we want to continue to grow our programs and continue to give kids opportunities to be a part of something that is bigger than themselves and something that they can represent their school and their teachers and their administrative team and just be a part of something that makes them feel a sense of belonging at school, no doubt.
Right. Well, let's talk about basketball. We're getting ready to start this week. Huh?
We are. We're off and running. Middle school basketball started this week with games on Monday and games again tonight. We've had a lot of freshman games starting to happen this week. And of course, we have kick off some varsity basketball on Friday night. So off and running. It's an exciting time to see a lot of new coaches that we have in the district, head coaches, whether it's some of the girls programs, whether it's we have some faces in new places, whether it's Coach Parrish went from Edison over to East Central, whether it's a new girls coach at Memorial with other places. So we're excited about a lot of new coaches, new programs, new opportunities, and continue to see our numbers grow in basketball as well.
Who do you look at being the kingpin in Tulsa?
Well, I think our tradition. Obviously, right off the bat, you think of in boys basketball, you're going to think of Memorial, and you're going to think of Booker T having strong teams. But across the board this year, I think you're going to see an improvement in several programs. The Hale boys are going to be strong, coming off a fantastic year last year. I can see them being a preseason probably top 2 or 3 team in Class 4A. I think the East Central boys, with Coach Parrish going there, will be a surprising team. I know he says don't put pressure on him, but he works so hard and does such a good job that I think you'll see some changes there in our girls teams. Again, the Booker T girls are going to be strong. I'm going to tell you right now, I think the Hale girls coming off an 0-for season, I could foresee 8 to 10 wins, and that's no pressure on James Asbury, but James does such a good job and works so hard at it. His numbers are way up, and I think that they'll be competitive. I think you're going to see big changes there. So across the board, again, from top to bottom, I see a big improvement in our girls basketball, and the same way with boys. I think we're going to continue to be strong and see some good teams, and I could see in a couple of months us talking about having 3 or 4 boys teams in the 5A state tournament. So it's going to be an exciting time.
How's the middle school program going?
Well, again, as we continue to grow our numbers, trying to have all 4 teams, whether it's 2 7th grade boys and girls teams and 2 teams in 8th grade being girls and boys, I think across the board we have that fulfillment of having all those teams present. But again, as eligibility, injuries, things like that start taking shape now that we're going to get into the swing of the season, I hope we have enough numbers that we can stay strong and not have to cancel games. That's always something that we have to battle as the season goes on. But out of the gate, I think we're strong. We're good with lots of numbers. We have to understand that our coaches need to hold those kids accountable in the classroom so that they're getting their work turned in, they're taking their tests, making up exams and things when they need to so that they can remain eligible throughout the season. And that's always been a challenge, but again, it's a challenge that I think our coaches and our athletic directors are up to.
Well, they always got to understand they're student athletes.
There's no question about that, Gil, and we got to continue to push that forward with our young kids to know that when you get into high school, it's going to become even more of a challenge, and so we're going to continue to do that. Along those lines, Gil, I'm going to let you know that our student athletic trainers have gone out. We're starting to help our seniors fulfill their commitment for graduation by presenting CPR training, which is a requirement for graduation. And Steve and his team has been out this week really making that strong push. And so we're going to continue to lean on that part of student athlete by helping those kids meet the requirements and fulfill things they need for graduation through athletics.
Oh, that's good through our student trainers. That's a good idea. Excellent. Good utilization of personnel.
Absolutely.
That's really good. Well, we got 40 seconds. We got Tournament of Champions. Our next show will be at the DoubleTree with the Tournament of Champions coaches.
It's hard to believe we're at that time. I just walked in from being out at the DoubleTree to meet with those folks in preparations for our luncheon and press conference, which will be on the 6th of December, 3 weeks from today. So making plans for that, and it's hard to believe it'll be that time, but we'll have all the coaches available and ready for interviews and ready to talk about their teams as they prepare for the Tournament Champions.
Always look forward to the Tournament Champions. It's the next to the state tournament in this state. There's no question.
Well, as Bobby Allison says, he's won 5 or 6 state championships, and he's only won the Tournament Champions once.
Yeah, right, exactly. So when you got the best from all the classes, it's hard to do.
It's a different animal.
Sure is. Well, thanks for being here, and
Appreciate it.
we'll have you on next time at the special show for the Tournament of Champions. We'll be back after these messages.
Hey, Tulsa, welcome back to the top recycling play of the day. Team Johnson is facing off against one tough competitor, glass.
That's right. Only glass bottles and jars are recyclable. Don't even think about sinking a drink in glass or mirror. Always good to empty your glass bottles and jars before recycling.
These two get it, emptying both bottles from far out, and they remove the lids. Score big by recycling your glass bottles and jars. Learn more at TulsaRecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Booker T. Washington has taught me to carry myself with class as an athlete, student, and friend, and to have responsibility on and off the field, and that it's the littlest things that will make all the difference in the long run.
Being an athlete at Memorial High School has taught me to be a better person, because when you play sports, attitude is the main thing you have to deal with, not just your own, but other people's. It also teaches you to be the bigger person.
We hope you enjoyed today's show featuring cheer, pom, swimming, wrestling, and our JROTC program at Nathan Hale High School. And thanks to Mick Wilson for joining us today to highlight our basketball wrestling teams as well as our swim teams and previewing the upcoming Tournament of Champions. The show on December 6th will be at the DoubleTree to provide that show with the coaches from each of the 16 teams that are in the tournament. We'll see you again on December 6th with our special episode of Inside Tulsa Athletics for the 58th Annual Tournament of Champions Basketball Tournament.